Heading into week 5 of the fantasy football season, I'm going to give you my starts and sits of the week at the quarterback position. And this is more relevant for people who are in Superflex, 2 quarterback leagues, or maybe you're even streaming the position. This could be helpful. I'm not going to tell you to start the obvious guys like Jalen Hurts or Herbert or, whatever the case may be. I'm going to give you guys that are on the edge. So why don't you do me a favor? Drop a like, subscribe, comment, tell me what starts you're confidently, heading into week 5 with, and let me know if you like the take. So my first start of the week is Ryan Tannehill at the Washington Commanders. The Washington Commanders currently give up the 7th most points to the fantasy quarterbacks. And I'm just going to get on a little soapbox here for a second. As a lifelong Washington fan, I hate that I even have to say that. As a lifelong Washington fan, I can confidently tell you that this franchise is the trash can of the NFL. Dan Snyder is possibly the worst owner in sports history. Our coaching staff has literally no idea what they're doing or how to use the players that they've drafted. Our offensive line is horrendous, and our secondary is getting torched on a weekly basis. It is truly embarrassing to even have supported this team for this long, but here I am, hoping that one day Dan Snyder will get fired and things will change. Let's talk about Ryan Tannehill, though. The Titans are surging. Outside of the week 2 collapse versus Buffalo, Ryan has been pretty decent for fantasy football. He has not scored less than 18 fantasy points in a 6-point touchdown league outside of that week. No Treylon Burks, but he should have a really good game because this defense is terrible in Washington. There should be more than enough opportunities for him to be a top 15 to 16 quarterback this week. My second start of the week is Jared Goff at the New England Patriots. The Patriots right now on defense aren't the same defense they were last year. They currently give up the 9th most points to fantasy quarterbacks. And this Patriots team is in such a weird, interesting position. Bailey Zappi likely the start of this week after Mac Jones's ankle injury and Hoyer's concussion. Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson last week combined for 32 rushing attempts. Here's the reality though. Every team in the NFL can score against these Lions. They currently give up the most points of any team in the NFL. They are so bad that the next closest team is almost 8 full points ahead of them per game as far as how much they give up. They give up more than a touchdown per game compared to every other defense in the NFL. So the Pats are going to be able to score. I mean, if you are brave enough and you want to go ahead and start Bailey Zappi, maybe you can do that. I just don't have the cojones to do something like that here in his first start ever. But the reality is that these Patriots are going to be able to score. It'll probably be on the ground. And Jared Goff each week is going to continually be put in a place where he needs to put up a ton of points for his team to even be considered for a win. So the reality is Jared Goff, if he gets Amon-Ra St. Brown back, at least like one of these guys, Amon-Ra and Chark, he's going to be a great starting option here in week 5 versus the Patriots. For my third start of the week, let's head to Jacksonville. I am starting Trevor Lawrence versus the Texans. Houston's been pretty decent against quarterbacks this year, 10th fewest at the moment on a weekly basis. But I think the context is kind of important there. Let's look at the matchups that they've had. Okay, they've faced a struggling Matt Ryan, a struggling Russell Wilson, and Justin Fields in 3 of their 4 games. So I think it's hard to say that they're really good against quarterbacks at this point. Trevor Lawrence and the Jags, despite the L at Philly, they have really hit their stride here in 2021. And Trevor Lawrence is currently scoring over 20 points per game in a 6-point passing touchdown league. We can't hold the Eagles game against them. That is one of the best defenses in the NFL. On the year, Trevor Lawrence is the quarterback 13, 8 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. The breakout is going to continue this week versus the Houston Texans. Trevor Lawrence has a great chance to finish top 12 this week, but more top 15 is realistic. And my last start of the week is Jameis Winston versus the Seahawks. Now, when I'm recording this, I don't know if he's going to play or not. So if it's Andy Dalton, no, you probably don't start Andy Dalton, but this is a really good matchup. And if Jameis plays, I know he has the injury, but you can confidently start him as an option in Superflex or 2 quarterback leagues. Seattle currently gives up the 6th most points to fantasy quarterbacks. And if Jameis is healthy, he could be on for a huge week 5 performance. Even if it's just Olave and Landry out there, that could be enough for him to be a good streaming option. Keep in mind, the Seattle team just gave over 40 fantasy points to Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions. Goff had 378 yards and 4 touchdowns, and he was without his 2 best weapons in Amon-Ra St. Brown and DeAndre Swift. So with Olave ascending and a get-right game for New Orleans, who is 1-3, who is all in on Jameis Winston, this game will set the tone for the rest of the season offensively. I have 2 sits of the week for you. The first is Kenny Pickett at the Bills. The Bills give up the fewest points to fantasy quarterbacks right now. It was incredibly fun to see Kenny Pickett be a spark off the bench, and now he's going to start. But this is just not the matchup that you chase, okay? Buffalo's been incredible against quarterbacks this year. He had 3 interceptions versus the New York Jets. It's a rough first start for Kenny Pickett, and we need to see it before we start him. This isn't a very good matchup here. My second sit is Daniel Jones at the Packers. Pack give up the 7th fewest points to the position. Danny was in and out of week 4's win versus the Chicago Bears. He seems healthy enough to start, but the Packers are not a matchup again that I'm looking to chase. He has 3 touchdowns on the year through the air and 2 interceptions, 2 on the ground as well, rushing touchdowns. There's just not enough of reliable pass catchers here for me to consider Daniel Jones a legit starting option. And now he's facing an even better defense in Green Bay. So those are my 2 sits of the week. Why don't you guys comment? Any questions that you have, takes that you like, things that you disagree with, that's okay. Comment down below, drop a like on the video, and we'll see you on Saturday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as we answer your Start Sit questions live.
Yo, what's good? Thanks for watching. We got a lot more videos.
A lot more.
If you want more videos.
Watch it.
You can also subscribe.
Right now.
If you want to.
You need to.
And lastly, don't forget that you can sign up to support the show and get exclusive content by going to patreon.com/FantasyLand fam.